Question number 1. Which term in the arithmetic sequence, 1, 7, 13, 19, etc., is the number 127? In other words, that's some term way down the line. If we were to write it out, we'd say, well, it's, it's 1, 7, 13, 19, ... way down the line, we'd have the number 127. So what term number? It is the what term, is what they're asking. Kind of a different kind of question. Like, notice this is the first term, second term, third term, fourth term. This, let's call it nth. It's the what term number is the 127? Is that the 30th term or the 28th term or the 53rd term? What term number is that 127? Okay, how are we gonna figure that out?
Can you write that in formula?
Yeah, good idea. Good idea. How about we do that? I like that. Let's write the formula. Yeah, remember how we learned to do that? We'd write the 1, the 7, the 13, the 19. Yeah. And then how do we come up with the formula? We write the path, don't we? And then right over here, we write the term number. So it's all about the path. Remember, the pattern is in the path, and then you got to write the term number. So the first one is just a 1. There's no path to that. That's just where we started. The next one, what are we doing every time from term to term in this sequence?
We're adding 6.
Yeah, we're adding 6, aren't we? At least in mine, we're adding 6. So the path to get to the 7 was we started with 1 and we added 6. The path to get to the 13 is we started with 1 and we added 6 twice. The path to get to the 19 is we started with 1 and we added 6 3 times, etc. Right? Remember that formulas? And so this is going to be what? 1 plus 3 times 6. And this is 1 plus 2 times 6. And this is 1 plus 1 times 6, etc. Okay. So what are we going to do now? Let's write the term numbers. This is the first term, second term, third term, fourth term. And so we want to come up with a formula for the nth term, right? So what's that going to be?
1 plus 6, parentheses, n minus 1.
Exactly. We all good with that? That's the kind of stuff we did in the last homework assignment. Yeah, you look at the 4 leads to a 3. And the 3 leads to a 2, etc., right? The 2 leads to a 1. We all seen that connection, right? It's always 1 less. It's 1 plus 1 less times 6. So, okay, so great. That's the formula for the nth term. So now how do I find the term number for the 127? How am I going to do that?
Can you just put 127 where the n term's there and solve the equation like that?
I think that's a fabulous idea, Destiny. Does everybody see that? That's a great idea. Let's just put that 127 right there, right? Because that's what we're saying, huh? That's exactly what we're saying. We're saying 127 is what term number, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. We're saying 127, what's the n? What's the term number for that? Beautiful. So let's solve that equation. So let me rewrite it right here. 127 is 1 plus 6 n minus 1. Do you remember how to solve equations? How do we solve that equation? Remember from your algebra days when you took algebra? Those were some of the best days of your life, right? I'm sort of half kidding. I know people don't always throw in algebra. Some people like it. So how do we solve for n there?
PEMDAS?
Right. So I'm trying to get this n alone, right? This n right here. We're trying to get him alone. So well, the PEMDAS is the order of operations that that's a little different. Solving equations, yeah, PEMDAS is what's required. Sorry, I want to answer your question, but it's a little bit of a long story. When you're solving an equation, you don't have to do any particular order. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to follow PEMDAS, in fact. I know that probably sounds funny to say, but you don't. You can do whatever you want as long as you do it to both sides. So you can do whatever order you want. Now there's easier ways to do it and harder, but you're allowed to do, this is an equation, right? This side and this side are equal. They are in balance. So as long as I do the same thing to both sides, if they were equal before and I treat them the same, then they're going to have to be equal afterwards, aren't they? That's the principle of equality. If two things are equal and you treat them the same, they're going to be equal afterwards. Two things start out equal and you treat them the same, they're going to end up equal. So what am I going to do to both sides?
You can subtract by 1 first.
Yeah, it's a good way to start. Subtract 1, that'll get rid of that 1 right there, right? That'll give me 126 is 6 times n minus 1. Everybody good with that so far? We're trying to get rid of the stuff to get the n alone. All right, now solve for n. What do I do next to move towards getting n alone?
Multiplication, so 6 times n and 6 times -1.
Well, you could do that for sure. That's okay, that's true. But I'd rather just get rid of the 6 instead of doing that. Can I just get rid of the thing?
You would have to do log.
Have to do what?
My guess would be that you would have to take the log.
Woo, Martine, we're getting fancy. We don't need logs unless we have powers. Logs are used in calc or calc. Logs are the reverse for powers. If we had powers, that's when logs come into play. We're not going to do that in this class. How do we get rid of this 6? This 6 is multiplied. So how do you get rid of something multiplied?
You divide.
You divide, right? See how we're always just doing the opposite? See up here how this 1 was added, and the opposite of adding, we subtracted. And see how this 6 is multiplied, and the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So you always just do the opposite operation to get rid of something. If the thing is added, you subtract it. If the thing is multiplied, you divide it. And then use your calculator. What is 126 divided by 6? I don't know. It's 21. So it's 21 is n minus 1. We don't need those parentheses anymore because there's nothing to separate the n minus 1 from anymore. The 6 is gone. Last step. To get n alone.
Add the 1.
Here it is. Add the 1. 22. So we solved for n. So what does that mean about this? The n is 22. So going back to the original problem, the 22, the n is 22. The 127 is the 22nd term. It's the 22nd. So anyway, 22nd term, right? In the 127 must be the 22nd term in that list. We found out we solved for n. So there we go. Questions on that one? Anything I can answer on that one? Are we still here? Let me see. Can you still see my screen? Yeah, you're good. All right. So we good there?